So, whenever we think about creating a career or having a career in Japanese language, so this field of interpretation comes as an obvious. So, today we are going to discuss, we're going to listen to Arnab Bhowmik on that exact point that how we can create a very wonderful career in the field of Japanese interpretation. So, welcome you all to this session. You all already know that it's named as Unlocking Japanese Interpretation, uh, which is the second session of our podcast titled as All About Japan by Sahasra Education. And now I would like to welcome Arnab Bhowmik and Arnab san, I would like to welcome you. We are very glad to have you here today.
Good evening, Hirak, and
Good
thank
evening.
you for inviting me. So I'm very much glad that I can be part of this and I can share some of my experiences that I have gathered in this few years of my interpretation career.
Wow. So I think that we are definitely going to have a very wonderful evening. We're going to have some insight, meaningful insight. There'll be more knowledges after this session. Okay, so first, I would like to introduce Arnab-san. So he's working as a Japanese interpreter for more than almost it's now 6 years to 7 years now. It's almost about a decade now. So he's working in Suzuki as an interpreter. But before that, he also have a very interesting story to share. I think that he completed his postgraduate from IIT Kharagpur. Now, I will definitely ask you that how it all started. It is the most obvious question. Okay.
So, Hirak, it will be a bizarre sequence of events, but
Yes.
yeah, please listen to it. So,
Yes.
the thing is, like, first, before I start, just remember this background that during my junior high, that is maybe ninth or 10th standard, I started my journey with Japanese. Like I started watching animations and animes. So that was broadcasted in my local television channel. So I started watching that. So that is the background.
Okay.
So from there onwards, that was just an entertainment segment. Animation was just an entertainment segment in
Yes.
my life. So that no more, no less, like that. So from there onwards, I was a straight up science stream student. So I completed my higher secondary bachelor's. Then I went to IIT Kharagpur for my further master's study. Then and all these times I was watching animations as well, just like
Hmm.
normally people watch movies or serials, soaps. So similar to that, I was watching animation.
As an
So yeah,
entertainment only.
yes, yes,
Okay.
entertainment only. And till this time, I was watching that in English only. So
Hmm.
no Japanese. I had like no interaction with the Japanese language.
Understood.
I was watching the animations in English only. Okay. So during my third semester of masters, so suddenly, like I like one day I was watching one series. Uh, I think I think it's Hungry Heart. So it's
Okay.
a sports animation. Yeah, Hungry Heart is sports animation. So I was looking for one specific episode in English, but which I could not. So I ended up watching in Japanese only with
Okay.
English subtitles. So that on that day, like I got little bit intrigued. Like okay, initially it was bit hard first 10-15 minutes
Hmm.
because I was not able to uh, catch anything because I had to look every time at the subtitles. So
Hmm.
later I continued with the second episode as well in Japanese
In
audio,
Japanese.
English subtitle.
Ah,
So
okay.
yeah, so that continued maybe like 2-3 hours. I watched 2-3 episodes in Japanese audio, English subtitles. So after finishing that, so later I thought like let's just search like what is these letters about? Like, how do Japanese people say these things, or what are the
Hmm.
letters? I just googled it up.
Randomly.
So yeah, randomly,
Okay.
out of no purpose, no motive, just
Hmm.
wanted to know, like, what is this?
It was a simple
So
curiosity that how it
yeah,
works.
yeah,
And
yeah.
just to
Yes.
okay.
Like
Okay.
what are they saying, like, in Japanese? So only the one or two words that I could grasp from that 2 3 episodes was that one was Ohio, one was like that was saying that Arnab san or Hirak san. So
Okay.
what is that san? Like
Sun.
the name I could get, like, they are saying the name, but why this san? For every name they are saying
Hmm.
like this san or kun or chan. Why is that? So those sparked my like curiosity.
Okay.
So I googled it up. So then I found the letters, like in a sequential manner, that hiragana, katakana, and kanjis are there. So that sparked a bit more curiosity. That okay, there are three scripts.
Yes.
So
Three
how do
scripts.
yeah, okay, then how do they write that? So let's search it up. So through searching, I even downloaded one book, just
Interesting.
yeah, for hiragana, katakana only.
You downloaded a book to learn hiragana katakana. Okay.
I just downloaded a book just to check out,
Okay.
not to
How
learn.
that works? Like they're using
Yeah.
three scriptures at the same time. How they
Yes.
use
Yes.
it all three at the same time.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. That's great.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is the thing. So gradually I started like, okay, can I write? Like these are so difficult. Can I write? Let's try it. So I started with hiragana.
Hmm.
So like every day I would write 5 letters. The next day it would be a new 5 letters and repeat of the yesterday's
Okay.
5 letters.
So you were
So
doing a new five characters and you were practicing the
yeah,
five characters you have done yesterday.
yeah. So
Okay.
these I'll not go detail into my routine, but
Hmm.
uh, this was continued for like 3 4 months,
Okay.
and during this time I started developing like interest in uh, Japanese grammar as well. So I downloaded
Okay.
one more book. So the
Which is
book
a
was
grammar.
yeah. So that was
Okay.
Genki one. I
Genki,
still
yes.
have that book. So I
Wow.
downloaded that book, Genki one. So I started. So from there, I got the explanation why they are adding that san or kun or
Hmm.
chan. So this I continued for 1 year.
Okay.
So self learning
I think
with
by 1 year you have completed all the hiragana, katakana, and the other things like initial
no,
things.
no. The thing was that I completed hiragana and katakana within the first 5 months.
Okay, which is good. You are
Yeah.
doing all things by yourself, which was
Yes.
actually good.
Yes. And a little bit of kanji as well. So I
Wow.
had basic kanji, I think, basic kanji volume one. So it's a red
That's
book.
good.
I still remember that. So I also downloaded that through lot of searching. So these three, like the hiragana katakana book, the kanji book, and this genki one. So I was continuing that for 1 year. So during that time, I had no intention that I'll be moving over to Japanese. So I was preparing for my third semester exam, followed by fourth semester, and in between that, I was applying for my post doctorate PhD.
Okay.
So yeah, but the field in chemistry which I choose were mostly popular in South Korea, China, and Japan.
Okay. Which
So
was it?
it is analytical chemistry.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it was popular in foreign countries, not mostly in India that time.
No, not even
Okay.
in USA or UK.
Okay.
So it is mostly most of the research is done by the South Koreans, Chinese, and Japanese.
Okay.
So in that field.
Like a East Asian thing, I can say now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can say that. So so I was thinking that okay, so these three countries have analytical chemistry in their PhD curriculum. So I need to choose one. So if I had to choose one, maybe it will be Japan because
Hmm.
I'm already watching anime,
Yes.
so it's good, good.
The
So
introduction
I
was done with Japan
yeah,
and Japanese.
but
Yes.
yeah, but the thing was that I applied even to I remember GP University.
Okay.
So they had I could get the scholarship, but all of us here know that Japan is very expensive.
Hmm.
So with the scholarship, the pay you get, you cannot survive in Japan. At least in Japan, you cannot survive.
Yes. It's difficult. You have to
Yes,
work otherwise. Yes.
yes, yes. So during that time, Gifu University mailed me that even if I get a scholarship, I need to show at least during that time it was 1 million rupees in my
Hmm.
bank account as a
That's
guarantor.
it.
At least, yeah. And to tell you the truth, I didn't have that much of financial strength during that time. Yeah. So I was literally like frustrated, and I had to give up on that.
Hmm.
And from my childhood, I had one characteristic in me that if I don't get what I want, so I cannot choose. I cannot compromise for the other thing. Like
Okay.
my other friends, whenever they couldn't get into the university which they opted for,
Hmm.
they went into a different field or
Hmm.
something like that.
Okay.
So I couldn't do that. So I couldn't make that compromise.
Okay.
So I altogether was looking for another option. Like I was during that time, it was maybe like almost end of my third semester.
Hmm.
So I was having like fluctuations in my mind that whether I'll be continuing my PhD or not. I'll be going
Hmm.
into my PhD or not. And uh, all of you may be aware that right now, not right now, during like I passed like almost 12 years back.
That time.
So
Not
yeah,
today, but
so
that
that
time.
time, yeah, yeah, that time also. So after PhD in India, at least people need to wait or almost like 3, 4 more years to
Hmm.
get into a
Yes.
decent job, or sometimes they don't even do that. Also, they
Yes.
don't even get a decent job also. So I was having doubts in my mind whether I should continue my PhD and not. So at that time, like I was thinking, like if I quit my PhD and just complete my masters, what will I do?
Okay.
What career should I have? So, so it is like 6 months has passed. I'm already learning Japanese through self study. So I thought just it sparked that uh, is there any job related to language or not? Let's just
Okay.
see. So still, because the reason for that thinking was that during that time, after 6 months, I could easily write all the hiragana, katakana, and few like 20, 30 kanjis
Okay. It
along with
means that you already started. Yes.
yes,
You already
yes, and
started. Hmm.
yeah, and I could like understand few of the basic words in animation, very basic things.
Hmm.
So I thought like, okay, man, like I'm able to understand a little bit of Japanese. Why not think like whether any job specific to language is there or not? So again, I googled it up, and uh, like luckily, I found that yeah, jobs exist, and during that time, I mostly found that translations and interpretations are the career. So I was like, okay, so you can become an interpreter or translator. Okay, so then then again I searched what is the criteria to
Hmm.
become an interpreter or translator. So to tell you the truth, there was no definite pathway, but it was
Yes.
yeah, it was said, but it was mentioned in an article that if you have a good command over your language, like your target language as well as your source language,
Source. Yes.
yeah, source language here it will be Japanese and target will be English.
Okay.
So
Yes.
yeah, you can, so you can opt for, or you can go into the interpretation field. But how you will get, that was not mentioned. You can get
Yes.
into interpretation.
It is
That
still
was only
like,
written.
not clearly mentioned anywhere. It's still a
Yeah,
very unclear picture in India.
yeah.
Yes.
So so I thought like, okay. So
Mm.
first thing is I need to get better at Japanese, right? So
Mm.
okay, I came back home and asked my
You came
mom
back from
that
Kharagpur after your post graduation.
yes, yes.
Okay.
I thought to myself, okay, let's just finish this master's thing, then I'll go back.
Mm.
I'll not continue my PhD. So it was a huge gamble with my career.
Mm.
So when I shared with my mom, so she was also like shocked that, and
Yes.
even my other relatives were very shocked that you are leaving IIT Kharagpur, leaving your
Exactly.
PhD, and going into something where no definite path or
Mm. Like leaving
you can say
IIT
like
was,
no
big
yeah.
thing. Still today and that
So,
time as well. Like it's still a big thing. Yes.
so I came back and asked my mom that please get me enrolled into a language school. So
Mm.
during that time in Kolkata, there were two renowned schools. So one was IJLSS,
Mm.
Indo-Japanese Language Society,
Yes. Yes.
and other one was Ramakrishna Mission Institute of
Goldberg.
Culture.
Goldberg.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I searched, but as I said, I didn't have that much of financial strength, and I
Mm.
didn't want to burden my mom with the school education fees further because after that shameful encounter in IIT, so I opted for the cheapest.
Okay. Okay.
Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You are audible now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So I told my mom, Mom, I'll go with Ramakrishna. That is the cheapest one, and it's I can complete it. So,
Mm.
but there was a catch that for IJLSS, course was like every course they had JLPT specific courses,
Yes.
whereas for Ramakrishna Mission it is their own curriculum,
Mm.
and
Like
it
they
is
have levels
year
like
based.
intermediate, senior, junior.
Yes, yes, yes,
Mm.
yes. And I checked their course duration as well. So every course was 1 year. So
Mm.
if I had to get to the top level, I had to spend 5 years.
5 years. Yes.
Yeah, five
Exactly.
years of my career. So again, I was thinking like I will. At that time, I was uh, 22, around yeah, 22. So I was thinking like I'll spend 5 years. Like means if I want to get a job, at least I need to be 27.
Yes, because it
Uh,
will require 5 years to reach at that top. Yes.
I'm audible.
Yes, yes, you are audible. Maybe the bandwidth is a little bit slow. So I think
Okay,
now
okay.
it's good.
So, I was thinking to myself, like, man, I have to wait till 27 to get a job. That is a huge pressure.
Hmm.
So, yeah. So, in between, I thought, like, okay, uh, to support my education and support me mentally, I'll do something else. And
Okay.
while I'll study Japanese, I'll do something else. So, since I was having my master's, so I applied for private schools
Okay.
for teaching.
Hmm.
So luckily I got into one and I continued.
So
So
as a teacher of chemistry, so you
yes,
were teaching as well at that time.
yes, yes.
Okay.
So
Good.
I started teaching uh, in a private school,
Hmm.
and after after 8 months or 9 months or so. So okay, before this, I go into the second next one. So during my masters, school service commission examination was also held
Hmm. Yes.
on the year of 2011. So I appeared for that exam as well. So now 9 months into my private school stint as a chemistry teacher, so I get selected into that school service commission as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so I switched to the government school job because all all for one reason only. There should not be any hindrance into my Japanese study because all you know that private schools means huge headache and huge stress for
Yes.
teaching and curriculum making and everything. Means private jobs are hectic.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So uh, like my father's parents used to say like government job is easy,
Exactly.
you can
All
relax.
the.
So I had that in mind. So I immediately switched because uh, I couldn't afford to like hamper my Japanese studies because
So your focus was completely on Japanese, but that it was like a secondary career. Like you were teaching, but
no,
you got the
I would not say that it was my secondary
that
career.
time it was
I
the
would
primary one.
no, I would term it as my stepping stone.
Okay, that's wonderful. Like stepping stone. Wow,
Yeah. So
understood.
that was my stepping stone. I may sound rude to others, like who are still
Hmm.
like
That teacher.
aspiring. Yeah, but
Hmm.
that was my stepping stone for me because I was having that mindset that I need to be an interpreter translator. Otherwise, my life is doomed because I have
Hmm.
played a huge gamble with my career. So I need to turn this around.
It is a now listening to you, there is a two catch now, not one. Like first, you discontinued your career from science group. Like in
Yeah.
your words, you gambled with your career and you decided to move to Japanese. So that was
Yes.
the first thing. It was a huge step for you. Like even today, anybody will think twice, thrice, a million times before doing that. It's a huge and brave step, I must say, because you have reached at this point of life right now. And after that, I am pretty sure that even after getting selected as a government teacher, you continued with that Japanese. Like, okay, I
Yes.
am in peace, like I have a very permanent job, secure job. I'm not going to move to another thing. Why I should, take the burden of learning a new and a difficult language? You
Yes.
stay with the same goal of pursuing Japanese. It's a great
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Like
eventually you did it.
yeah. In my mind was always in the language school, the Japanese. How will I structure my studies? How will I work
Hmm.
around my career? How will I work around my job timings?
Okay.
My body was in the school, my mind was inside,
Okay.
was somewhere else. So I even carried my Japanese study books to school. Whenever I got free period, I used to study over there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
So
you know.
yeah. So during that time. After like 5 years of my course got completed and on 2018
Hmm.
so I got my first breakthrough as a
Japanese.
translator, no,
Okay.
as translator, first
Okay.
breakthrough as translator.
Okay.
So um, I started teaching Japanese as well. uh, yeah, from 2016 I was teaching Japanese.
Okay. So 2 years
And
till 2018 to
yes,
2018. So two
yes.
years you have also taught Japanese.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I passed from Ramkrishna Mission on 2017,
Hmm.
but I waited one more year because on 2016 I started my B.Ed as well because I was
Oh.
not sure, like yeah, like whether because at that time school managing committee told that as government teachers we need to complete our B.Eds as well.
That
Otherwise,
become a compulsory thing for all the teachers
yeah,
that
yeah.
time. Yes.
I
Yes.
didn't. I didn't. had, I didn't have the willingness to complete or pursue B.Ed because it would hamper my Japanese studies.
Japanese.
I was literally reluctant, but you know, as I said, it was all for funding my education and funding my mental peace. So I had to go with the flow. So I waited. I joined B.Ed on 2016, completed 2018. So just after completing my B.Ed, I started looking for jobs fanatically. You know,
Mm,
yeah. So during that time, one of my students whom I was teaching Japanese, his uncle is based in Japan.
okay.
Okay. So he had one Japanese leaflet of like oil separator machines
Okay.
from like water.
Okay. Well, it's a better machine from water.
Yes.
Hmm.
Like water, like in cooking industry or restaurant industries. So whenever we cook something, so the water is mixed with the oils and
Hmm.
greases. So how to separate that oil from water? So that was, there is a machine. So for that, instruction manual or leaflet type of brochure type of catalog was there,
There.
and he was it was in Japanese. So he means through his nephew, he learned about me that I can read, write Japanese.
So
So
you can
he approached.
translate it. You can translate Japanese.
No, at that time I was not doing any translation. Before that, I didn't
Okay.
have any translation experience. So he was my first client. He approached me that I have this brochure. So can you translate it?
Hmm.
So I said like, okay, let's give it a shot. So it took a hell of 3 weeks for me to
Okay.
translate. 3 weeks.
How it was like not a single page, maybe a book of something like that.
It was like 4 pages.
Okay. But I
Four
think that
pages.
was the industrial level of Japanese. It's difficult.
Yes,
Definitely, it's
yes,
very difficult.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
It was completely 180-degree different what I was
Mm,
used to read for JLPT.
exactly.
Yeah, and during that time, I like I was literally searching the dictionaries and all to complete the translation.
Translation.
Yeah. So that was my first interaction with the translation. So I literally enjoyed the process. So next, I got another opportunity. So that is through my institution, Ramakrishna Mission.
Mm, mm.
So that was my first interaction for interpretation.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was in total productive maintenance. So it's a again industrial kind of topic.
Mm,
So then almost that is the end of 2018
mm.
December. So I got a call from, means I put up my CVs and all through all the online
Portals are there, like
consultancy, online
job
job
portal.
portals and all. So I got a call from Suzuki.
Suzuki. Now it
Yeah,
helps.
so, yeah. So I was literally thrilled. Like Maruti Suzuki, it's one of the biggest companies or MNCs you can say in India.
Yes.
So without any second thought, like I said yes and said bye bye to my you know school career.
Okay. So now in it happened in 2018.
2018 December, I got the call and I joined Suzuki next year on February.
Okay. So it was 2019. Okay. So
Yeah.
till that period of time, till then you are working at Suzuki and doing that, the brilliant interpretation. Okay.
No, my first initial phases were not so brilliant.
Okay. Yeah, that and you can understand. Like initially, the interpretation is pretty much
Yeah.
hard for anyone. Yes. So now we all know that how you came from a different kind of background to this field of Japanese interpretation. It was
Yeah.
not a very short journey. It was actually not a very short journey. Actually, it is a very you know very colorful journey. Very, there are many stories, there are many twists as well in this journey. But finally, you met that point what you wanted to meet, like
Yes.
that interpretation, that Japanese. That is a very
Yes.
wonderful thing. So now you told us that initially it was very difficult for you, like that
Yeah.
interpretation. So how was that? I would like to know that because I know some friends who are in interpretation right now. So in that initial stage, what made that burden for you? What was the thing?
Uh, First of all, the main thing was like the way you read uh, Japanese in books and the way a Japanese person will speak Japanese is completely different.
Okay.
And the complexity becomes bit more higher when the person is talking about something very much specialized, like technical or something like that.
Hmm.
Even though I was from technical background, but I was literally having difficulties to understand like what is he talking about because the technical words I know it is in English only. Means I have that knowledge in English only. I didn't have that knowledge in Japanese.
They have a different kind of dictionary, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Yes.
words are completely different, and the words, those words are not taught in Japanese textbooks as well because those are industrial words, technical scientific words.
Yes.
So, so that was the first one. Second complexity was I was having difficulties memorizing, like because during interpretation, the basic idea is the speaker would speak, and after speaking for a while, he would give a pause, and
Pause.
I'll interpret. So
Exactly.
that's the basic idea, basic workflow. But as a beginner interpreter, so even if the Japanese person is saying only one sentence, that also becomes very difficult for a beginner interpreter. But
Hmm.
to make the things more worse, the Japanese that Japanese person was speaking in 4 5 sentences,
Okay.
and then he would give a pause.
That's burdensome. Like that's
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
very difficult.
How would I remember all these 5 sentences?
Hmm.
I was not having the process like as I previously mentioned. There was no proper outline that how interpretation should be done or
Hmm.
what way proper interpretation should take place. I couldn't uh, get that knowledge
Yes.
because the language institutes also don't teach you that how interpretation needs to be done.
Exactly. They are teaching the Japanese only, like the
Yes,
initiation
yes,
of Japanese actually.
yes,
But
yes.
after in the real world, so that is actually different.
So I literally faced trouble. So during my initial phases, and it literally had me question my choice of career that whether I have chosen a good career for myself or
Okay.
that
It was
whether
so difficult in the beginning.
yeah, 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 it was very much difficult.
So how
So
you overcome it? Like how you get out of this situation slowly, gradually.
you know
So
I actually like when I started my uh, interpretation career. So I first did two freelancing interpretation
hmm,
before joining Suzuki. So means as I said, like I joined Suzuki on February 2019.
2019. Yes.
So
Yes.
before that, uh, I had done two freelance interpretation.
Freelance interpretations. Yes.
Yeah, one in 2018 and one in 2019 January.
Okay.
So during these two times, I faced a lot of difficulties.
Hmm.
So during that time, in both those cases, there were two persons so who were there who helped me in the interpretation.
Okay.
Like yeah, like when like it's literally I got freeze during the interpretation.
Hmm.
Like my words were not coming out of my mouth. Okay. So the audience was looking at me, and I felt so miserable and humiliated that my
Understand.
words are not coming out of my mouth. So my mind went blank. So during that time, so I do not know the person who saved me during that day. He is an actual interpreter or not, but he jumped and saved me. So I watched his interpretation. So how he was doing, so I watched him.
So there was a person who came out of nowhere, like I can
No, no,
say,
no.
and he started.
Actually, the thing was like the whenever the Japanese speaker who came from Japan, obviously. So he brought one of his assistants.
Okay.
Okay. So he that assistant was doing work, not interpretation. His normal work over there with the Japanese.
Okay. Yes.
So when my mind went blank, that person jumped in to save me. So from backstage, I watched him like how he did the interpretation. So those got properly engraved into my mind or in my system. So till to this day, I literally envision whenever I do interpretation, I envision those scenarios like how they did. So that I try to like mimic here.
So now we can actually say that that person
Yeah.
created a vision for your interpretation. How you should
Uh,
do. Like you visioned that person. That
yes.
very. I think how much. I don't know that how long it happened. Like 1 hour or 2 hour or
The first one was of 3 days
okay,
interpretation.
3 days. So
Uh, 3 days interpretation. But the initial day, I saw him for interpreting for 3 days. Every day I tried,
hmm,
but my mind went blank. So I
he was
literally,
saving you for 3 days. It's a great thing.
yes,
Like
yes,
you
yes.
know that person still now, or you don't know.
No, I just only know that he was an Australian.
Okay, so there was an
Yeah,
Australian man. Okay.
yeah, he was an Aussie.
Yes, thanks to that Aussie.
Okay, and the
Okay.
second one, I did that interpretation in Sikkim.
Okay.
Uh, do you guys know about the J Claire?
No,
No,
unfortunately.
J Claire. No. Okay. So, do you know about JET program?
JADE program. I think is it a scholarship program?
No, it is a program where uh, consulate selects few of the brilliant candidates of Japanese language and send them to send them to
Japan.
Japan.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, send them to Japan to work in municipalities or as English teacher. So there you
Okay.
can Google it up. It is a
Yes. Yes.
JET program and it is happening all over the world. So very few people get selected from India and all over the world.
Okay.
So
So
yeah, so JET program is organized by Mixed and JClear in
hmm,
collaboration with each other. So my second interpretation, I got the offer from JClear.
okay.
This was through my institute, Ramakrishna Mission.
Ramakrishna Mission. Yes.
Yeah. So they were doing one waste management training session in Sikkim municipality.
Sikkim Municipality.
Yeah. So I went over there. Before that, I had one interview with the J Clear. So I got cleared. So during that interpretation, so I did pretty well compared to the my first one
Hmm.
because I got the experience like how should I prepare myself for an interpretation session. So I prepared better. So that paid off as well. So, but there were certain areas that was out of my reach even then also. So during that time, from J Claire, I remember three Ja- uh, three Japanese were there and one Chinese person was there.
Okay.
Yeah. So that Chinese person was again not an interpreter. He was uh, senior researcher over there.
Okay.
Yeah, but he said to me like, don't worry, for the training session, you got the PPT, prepare it beforehand. So, but if any question answers come or anything, any scenario comes which is beyond this training session,
Hmm.
I'll help you.
Okay.
Don't worry. So, and man, he helped me a great, like, like I like previously I said, like, I whenever I do interpretation, I envision that person.
Hmm.
So that person is not the Aussie. That is
Yes.
the Chinese.
Okay, you envision the Chinese person today.
Yes,
Okay.
because that Chinese person literally had perfect Japanese accent,
Hmm.
perfect British English
Oh,
accent.
wow.
Yeah, and he, like, you can throw anything towards him and he will do the interpretation flawlessly.
But he was a researcher, not a
He,
professional interpreter.
he when I complimented that, wow, you are doing a great interpretation.
Hmm.
He said like, I'm not doing anything. I'm a like third rate interpreter.
Oh
So
my God.
so that I was literally shocked that he said like, interpretation is not my career. So I'm doing a third rate interpretation service. So the first rate interpreters do a more better
Better.
job than this.
Hmm.
Yeah, job than this. So I was literally amazed, overwhelmed, as well as frustrated at myself.
Because
Yeah,
you have to pursue
if
interpretation.
yeah, like,
Yes.
to me, he was first rate, and he is saying that he's third rate.
Mm.
So so to me, it was like, still, to this day, I like want to be like him, but still I can't be like him.
So you both are still connected somehow.
Sometimes we talk on WhatsApp.
Good, good. Okay.
Yeah. So he has given me a lot of tips and points, and he was talking with me in Japanese only, and
Okay.
his Japanese was very very good, and it helped me understanding the Japanese language, like, not like language, like, how can I say, like, how
Yes.
a business Japanese will speak.
Mm. So he was speaking with you in Japanese only, and that
Yes,
that habit helped me afterward. Helped
yes,
you. Sorry.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So after that, I got into Suzuki. So during my initial phases in Suzuki, whenever my work was done and I was returning back to my home, so every day was like hectic for me, because sometimes I would able to do a small discussion, means I would support in interpretation, but sometimes there would be cases where I would not be able to understand anything.
Okay.
Yeah. So Ye- when returning back, I used to text that person that today I couldn't do this. So how should I improve and all? So he really gave me a lot of pointers.
Okay. Every single day after coming back to home, you used to chat or talk to that person, like that Chinese person.
Yes, yes,
Okay. Every single day he was going to give you some suggestions.
yes, yes.
Okay, that's actually great.
Yeah,
Okay. So we will love to know from some of that suggestions, like those who will listen to you after this session, they will be wondering that how it works, like what suggestions are there they could have. So
yeah,
initially, what type of suggestions, how you practiced it to become a better version of interpreter?
yeah. Like, to this day, I follow the same thing. Like, the first suggestion he gave me is that, uh, wherever you are posted, be an expert or be fully knowledgeable for that work or for that process. For
Okay.
example, I'll give you one example that, like, in Suzuki, uh, if initially I was posted in civil and utility. Like
Civil
that.
and utility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe most of the people are beginner here, so they might not be knowing what civil and utility is. Civil deals with the building, construction, and engineering works,
Okay, civil.
architecture works, and utility deals with the electricity, water, gas supply, and its architecture, engineering, and all.
Okay.
And then I got posted into the paint process,
Paint process.
paint process of a car. So in both these cases, I followed his advice. So instead of just interpreting what the Japanese or what the Indian is saying, afterwards, like during that meeting, I couldn't do anything.
Hmm.
That was beyond my reach. But whenever a meeting got over,
Hmm.
I went back to my desk and Googled what the words were. Not the word. Initially, I searched the words. Then, as I got the words, what is the paint process? I searched both in English as well as in Japanese.
So
First, I
you used to search what is the paint process, not just the word paint. What is the paint process?
yeah,
Okay.
what is paint process?
Hmm.
What are the steps involved? All
Hmm.
these things in article format in Japanese as well as in English.
Ah, understand. Okay, so it is not just learning the words. Rather,
No.
you are trying to understand the whole process. Like in the field, what you are in, you're trying to
Yeah.
understand the whole field itself.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This is because again I'll share one more tip that the Chinese gave me is that during when I saw him doing the interpretation, I noticed that he was not doing chokuyaku. Chokuyaku, do you know that is called literal interpretation.
Literal interpretation. Yes, word to word, sentence
So
to sentence.
he was doing iyaku, that is called the meaning
May.
interpretation. He was transferring the meaning, not the word.
Mm.
So he was reading between the lines. So
Wow.
yeah. So how he could do that? Because he had extensive knowledge in that process. That is why he could do that read between the lines. And when the interpretation session was over, uh, we had ministers over there in that meeting. So the
Okay.
Sikkim municipality, mayors, and all, so came over to us to compliment and congratulate. So they said like to me as well as to the Chinese that both of you are good, but to me they said like your interpretation sounded like machine,
Okay.
and yeah, and to that Chinese person they said like your interpretation sounded like a normal smooth flowing process. We
Mm.
didn't feel like it was being interpreted.
That is what exactly I think we need in interpretation. It should be like a normal person speaking out of.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, so, so that is what the Chinese gave me the pointer that your interpretation should look like an explanation, not interpretation.
Mm. Okay. So it's a very important tip, like for anyone who is trying to like
Yeah.
grasp the
So,
idea of interpretation.
so that is why, and he said focus more on iyaku rather than
Ah,
chokuyaku.
the meaning, the insight.
Yes. So that is what like when I came to Suzuki. So initially it was hard for me because I had to learn and study all those processes. So that is why initially my interpretation was like a literal interpretation or translation, and uh, it took me a while to go or transition myself into that iyaku
You,
or you can
yeah,
say, yeah, reading
yes,
between the lines.
that
So
is good.
for that you need knowledge of your process, otherwise you cannot connect the lines or connect the
Yes.
dots. Sometimes Japanese do omit some words or point, but if you know the process you can easily connect the dots.
Hmm. Maybe we have missed some words like verbs or nouns.
No,
So,
no, the
so if
intention
you,
no, not verbs.
yes,
Intentionally the Japanese culture is like that. Whenever they are speaking something, they put their words or put their ideas in like
Compound things like this, shorten it.
no, no. They put it like indirect way, in a
Okay.
indirect way. So if you know the process, know the details of that thing, you can easily uh, convey the message properly.
So it is their intention what you have to understand, and then you
Yes,
have to share it with other person.
yes, yes. That is the thing. So if you do literal translation, there is no harm in that. But what will happen is that you will get stumble upon this indirect approach. So you have to translate whatever you hear only. So the audience may
Hmm.
frown their eyebrows. Like what did the person just say? So they may ask questions or they may have doubts.
Yes. But
Means
now you have
having
to.
questions is not a bad thing. But like questions means like I have shared one topic. For that you have additional question, that is fine. But what I am saying that you are not able to understand, that you are questioning. So that is means like my words are not getting conveyed properly. That problem happens in the literal translation or literal interpretation.
So from that, your suggestion is like if I divide it in two parts, like first, understand the process. Like
Yes,
whatever field you are in, first try to understand what is going on there, like what
yes,
field you are put into. And the second thing is don't go blindly, before that literal translation only. If you have the power, if you have the knowledge of the process, and with the ability of knowledge, try to translate or try to interpret the intention of the speaker. So when
yes,
you share the interpretation of that intention, so people will understand better. So
yes,
they will have no question on that exact thing. Further, they can have questions out of that point, but the
yes, yes,
particular point will be cleared enough. Okay,
yes,
that's a very good thing. I think everybody will know from this suggestion. Just you have said right now. Okay, so any
and
moment you can recall now that it happened in your initial or after any time in the field of interpretation, you still recall, but it was your story. Okay, is
yeah,
there anything?
means like should I say the bad experience as well as the good one
Anything,
or
whatever you want to share. Okay,
okay? So first I'll share the bad one. Then.
okay.
Yeah. So during my first interpretation, that was in 2018, the first one. So as I said, like my
Hmm.
mind went blank. So and the Aussie helped me for 3 days.
Yes.
So yeah. So the Japanese speaker for whom I was doing the interpretation, so was nearly at his limit by third day. He had to bear with me, with my interpretation. So he was nearly at his limit, and on third day when I choked up pretty bad, so there were managers in the audience. Okay, from ONGC to other companies, from Tata also. There are some managers attending the training session.
Hmm.
So I literally choked up, and to the whole audience in the mic, the
Okay,
Japanese
so it
said,
was not like in a room situation. You were on a
"No,
stage, you were with a
yeah,
microphone.
yes."
Okay.
So, so the Japanese in the mic says, "You are a bad interpreter."
Oh, that would be very difficult, definitely.
Yeah. You are a very bad interpreter. Two times he said that.
So,
So,
yes.
so the Aussie at that moment the Aussie jumped in and he continued giving the speech. So I went backside. So I was literally shattered, and I was thinking like, man, where will I hide my face right now? I literally want to go back.
That was definitely. So now, after that, you have learned a lot of things. After that, I believe, because that Aussie helped you. After that, the Chinese helped you. But that moment, I think that it's a very
Yeah.
crucial moment in your career, because still now you are recalling that moment.
Yes. Means I means it was like such a harsh moment for me that I couldn't means I can't even forget that.
So now let's come up with that good story. Okay,
Yes.
just opposite to that,
The good story is that in my current company, that is Suzuki.
Suzuki. Yes.
So yeah, like I had one meeting. It was a very technical meeting where the top management was there, and the Indian top management was also there, and the engineering department was there, and uh, they were discussing about a very detailed technical topic.
Okay.
And actually, the discussion was between the three Japanese that lasted for 5 minutes,
Okay.
5 to 10 minutes. Yeah. So normally 5 to 10 minutes may sound like a very short time, but whenever we are speaking, if you can count the timer in 5 or 10 minutes, you can say a lot of things.
Definitely.
Yeah. So after 5 or 10 minutes, the MD says, Arnab sir, please interpret.
No, it is
What
not a
is what?
sentence. It is not 5 sentences. It's 5 minutes.
Yes, 5 minutes of
Okay.
discussion, and then their discussion is over, and then they say, like, please interpret and convey the message to the Indian top management as well as the engineering department.
Okay.
Okay, so actually they said in this tone that can you please try to interpret? Like
Hmm.
they were they were having the thought whether I can interpret for this 5 10 minutes or not. And I was also not sure whether I'll be able to deliver that or not. Okay, but luckily I was able to deliver, and uh, it was like 40 50 people were there in the meeting.
They were all from higher management.
Yes, it was a
Wow.
top management
Hmm.
meeting with engineering department involved.
Okay.
So the MD again on the mic. This time he praised me that
Wow.
very good interpretation. So that was a very good moment for me.
So now I believe that 5 minutes of words, like someone has spoke of about 5 minutes. Now you have interpreted that 5 minutes to a group of 30 to 40 peoples with a very good accuracy. That's a very commendable thing. Okay. So it's a
Yeah.
very good
So
thing to hear actually. From that story to this story, this shift is a very good shift.
yeah,
Okay. It's
like I was
inspirational.
also uh, when MD our MD son said that. So it was a very joyous moment for me. Like that time again, I remembered that situation that I was called like a bad interpreter at
Yes,
that
over
time.
Mike.
And I was literally thinking, I wish I could show that Japanese that
This
listen what
this
my
this Arnab
yeah
san,
this
let me
is
show this Arnab san to that Japanese.
yeah
Okay. So now it is very good. It's not just a story, it's a kind of thing that is called inspiration. People today and afterward, anyone who will listen to this one, I think they will have something to know. They will have some inspiration out of your journey, your this story you have already recently shared. So now, okay, so now people, you have already shared the tips, which is very necessary. Now, what is the situation right now in India in the field of interpretation? What maybe the trends, or what is the situation right now? Anything you want to share about it?
yeah like obviously interpretation is in demand,
Hmm.
but there are like big MNCs and small size mid size companies in India.
Okay.
I'm talking about Japanese companies only.
Yes, only it's yes, yes.
Yeah. So the big MNCs will hire interpreters for sole purpose of interpretation.
Okay.
Okay. But for mid-size to small-size companies, they will hire interpreters, but along with some additional jobs like purchase work or like sale negotiation work
Okay.
or even maybe field work.
Okay. So it's not
And
just only about the interpretation. There are additional things as well.
yeah, like I'm not saying that pure interpretation is not left; it is there, but certain companies give you the opportunity to venture only around interpretation, and most of the companies look for interpreters with additional skills.
Yes. So now,
Like if people can means uh, the person will do interpretation, and whenever he or she is not doing interpretation, he can do or support the administration team, or he or she can help in the HR work, or he or she can help in the purchase or maybe
hmm,
sales, like that, or maybe even field work.
okay. So you mentioned that we need skills. Okay. So for interpretation, you earlier mentioned as well. But what type of skills? Recent days, I'm speaking about today, and So what type of skill one should have if they're willing to be in this career of interpretation in Japanese, actually? So let's
Look,
talk about that soul interpretation. Left that that other things, but soul interpreters.
yeah, for soul interpretation, what I have experienced is that first of all, companies say that you require N3 to get into interpretation.
Okay, so JLPT is necessary for interpretation
Yes,
these days.
obvious. In India, it is necessary.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I have
Outside
another
of India,
question. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, Arnab. Just one question, that how actually, because everyone who is learning Japanese, they are trying to test their ability by JLPT only, because that is a very good tester. We all
Yes,
know that is a very good
yes,
tester, because that
yes,
is, done by the Japan government itself.
yes,
So,
yes.
how it can actually measure that skill one can have in interpretation?
Uh, should I be frank?
Yes,
Should I tell the
absolutely.
truth?
Yes, I think that there is nothing, but I want to
Uh,
know it from you actually.
so it may break the heart of many people that
Okay.
JLPT does not test the
Hmm.
interpretation skills.
Exactly. But one must have that degree or not.
Yes,
Hmm.
you need to have JLPT because right now all over the world, like I'll not talk about USA or UK or maybe European countries, but even in Japan uh, or Korea or
Yes.
even in India. So the sole, like I can say, like
Purpose.
the measurement tool
Hmm.
for gauging one's Japanese abilities, JLPT, or recently NAT test is
That is
also
there.
developed.
Yes.
Yeah. So NAT or JLPT is the sole measuring tool to gauge a person's Japanese ability.
Absolutely.
So the companies are not gauging a person's interpretation ability.
Exactly.
They are recruiting people who can speak Japanese language, not interpret. But they will require that person who speaks Japanese language to interpret.
Ah, absolutely. So,
Yeah, that
so
is the
now,
thing.
so now let's get back to that point. What are that important skills we were speaking about?
Yeah, like first of all, the basic thing is the person should have advanced level of command in Japanese as well as in English.
Okay.
I'll repeat, Japanese as well as in English.
English.
Yeah, the thing is because whenever I have seen many people who are actually good in Japanese, really good, but
Yes.
they are really having poor skills in English, and yeah, that stalled their career.
Understood.
So yeah, so if you think that just by speaking good Japanese you can get by or you can get around uh, speaking English, so that's not going to happen.
Never.
You can get to a certain level, but after that, English will be required. And if you're having poor English communication skills, so you need to brush up.
Mm, definitely.
So
Because there is a target language, there is a source language.
yes,
Interpretation is not just about Japanese, it's
and
about
yeah,
another language.
yeah. Some people might claim that why we have Japanese, we can speak Hindi. Yeah,
Mm,
obviously you can speak, but the manage to whom you will speak Hindi. The top management of a company won't speak Hindi to you. And
definitely.
top, yeah, and I'll be very blunt. Japanese management, the people who come for Japanese management position, those Japanese people can understand English to some extent.
Mm,
It's not that they have zero knowledge in English.
yeah, sure.
They learn Japanese. Sorry, they learn English
English.
from their uh, Japanese offices a little bit so that they can be posted overseas and do a business.
Exactly.
So don't ever have that false idea that we are interpreting for Japanese. Does that means that that Japanese person has zero English
Knowledge in
ability?
English. Yes.
No, it's not like that. I have had encountered with several Japanese who said to me that we don't need you to interpret the English to Japanese. I
Okay.
can understand English, but what
Mm,
I am saying, just interpret that in
yes,
English.
to
And
English
don't,
only.
yes, don't speak in Hindi because I'll not be able to understand
Mm.
whether you are doing correct
Translating
or
it
not.
correct or not, interpreting
Yes,
it correct or not. So they are
yes,
measuring your skills as well because they understand English.
yes.
Yes. Okay.
So in that scenario, if a person says, "No, sir, I'm not able to speak English," ego wa hanasemasen, ego wa nigate desu, dame desu yo,
That would
sore wa.
work. Yes. Yes. So this is a very crucial point you just mentioned, that we all know that interpretation is not about just one single language. It's always we
Yes.
have the pair of languages, which is English and Japanese in
and
recent Indian
and
language.
and I feel Indians are very blessed with languages because Indians can speak from the moment they are born. They are born into a multilingual society.
Yeah,
So most of us Indians can speak at least three languages.
sure.
Yeah, one their native language, one is Hindi, thanks to Bollywood.
Yeah,
Yeah, and one is English that is required. Otherwise, we won't get a job.
definitely. Now, actually, India is a multilingual, multilingual country. So,
Yeah,
yeah, we have that advantage. Our brains are structured in that way.
yeah. So I feel like Indians are blessed in the language segment. They can
Mm,
grasp any language quickly because we are already exposed at least two, three languages from the very young age.
yeah,
Our brains are structured or wired like that way.
yeah. So, except that skill in English as well, what one should, have.
Like communicating in front of large gathering. If you have
Mm,
chosen the interpretation career, so you have to be on the spotlight. You have to be on the limelight.
okay,
So if you are having stage fear, throw it away, or you need to practice it.
so because you have to speak in front of a gathering, in front of a lot of
Yes, you
people.
are the face. Like the interpreter is the face of the speaker.
Wow.
Sometimes, sometimes there are cases when speaker may be a bad orator. The interpreter has to do all the job. He has
Yes.
to be an excellent orator.
So he is making the situation better, like by
Yes,
interpreting.
yes.
Yes. See, he or she is the front.
Like
Okay.
since, for example, The Japanese speaker is speaking Japanese, but since the Indian audience cannot understand Japanese, so Japanese can speak poorly,
Yes,
but
definitely.
only the interpreter can understand whether he is speaking good
Poorly or
or he is poorly. So
yes.
if the person is performing poorly, it is if the interpreter is doing only literal interpretation, then English speech will also be a poor one. So that
Hmm.
is why the interpreter needs to do his job correctly. He has to be an excellent orator.
Hmm. He
Because
is
he
that
needs to,
medium to,
yes.
he is that
So
bridge. So that
yes,
bridge has to be very good.
yes.
Yes. Otherwise people will not be able to, from
The
point
message
A
will
to
not
point.
get transferred.
Yes, exactly. So thanks to you, we have, just learned about some tips and tricks in interpretation. So now, I would like to know about other things as well. There are a few points I would definitely like to mention. So in India, what is the type of situation I asked it? Uh, so how about the job opportunities now in
Opportunities
India?
are there.
Yes, opportunities.
So, like human resources are less. Like I'm talking about capable ones.
Okay.
Yeah. L- Like every year, huge number of people pass out from Japanese language, but I'm only talking about the capable ones.
Okay.
So there is a scarcity about the regarding the capable ones. So jobs are there, but the people are not.
Capable people are not there to fill it.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I would like to ask you one question, like what is the situation? Should the jobs are over the portals, or it is, for the interpretation field, if the networking is better, like the networking.
I can't stress enough regarding the network. Networking is so much crucial in this field.
Okay.
You need to have a solid connection to land a job. Like if you are an in-house interpreter, you're lucky. Like you get a stable payment, you know, everything is good. But if you
For
think like,
those
oh,
freelance interpreters,
yes, yes.
yes, yes.
So having connection is the most crucial thing freelancer can ever think of.
Exactly.
So even last year, uh, when I was coming in puja, so during the vacation, out like I don't know what occurred to me. I took up one freelancing job
Okay.
during the
During
puja
that
vacation.
Durga Puja itself, last year.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know what occurred to me, but I took up that job, and it was really rewarding.
Okay.
So it was actually I took up. I think because I wanted to see like I'm doing good right now.
Hmm.
I'll not exaggerate, but I'm doing good than previously in as an in-house interpreter. But I wanted to test that, as I said, like when I did those two freelancing jobs, I didn't do well up to my expectation.
Yes.
So I wanted to test that after these 5 years, whether
Hmm.
I have improved or not.
Hmm.
So I
So
took up
what
that
happened actually?
field. So it was very good.
Wow.
It was very good. So
It was
like
obvious. Yes. So you were having interpretation as a freelance for how many days, like in puja?
yeah, I was there for 3 days, 2 days of conference interpretation, and one day for as a tour guide, like for the
Okay.
same group. Like we are having one international conference from people were there from Japan, Thailand, Singapore, Philippines, New Zealand, Australia, so and India as well.
Okay.
And
So location, where was it?
it was in New Delhi.
New Delhi. Okay.
Yeah. So it was not related to my current job. It
Hmm.
was completely a different field.
It's a freelance thing. Okay.
Uh, Yeah. Do you
And
know
oh,
the product that is styrofoam?
styrofoam, not
Okay.
really. Yes.
Okay. I'll say the local name. Thermocol. Do you know?
Yeah, yeah, yes, you're all
That is called styrofoam.
styrofoam. Okay. So
Yeah.
there was a
So
conference about styrofoams,
styrofoams.
styrofoams. Okay.
It was an international conference between the uh, legal entities of these styrofoam associations from these countries I mentioned previously, that are
Hmm.
Australia, New Zealand, and Japan, China, Singapore, Russia. So these countries gathered to discuss about the current scenarios in the styrofoam market. What would be its because since it is non-biodegradable,
Hmm.
so what will be its scenario if it because it pollutes the means from the
Environment.
yeah, actually from the United Nations there was one claim that styrofoam pollutes the environment. So regarding those things, the topics were there, and also regarding some association related internal discussion.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you did it for almost 3 days, and then
yeah,
you came back again.
yeah,
So, like, how you build these connections
yeah.
to have
So
this?
so like so coming back to this point, so I have registered myself to at least around 10 15 agencies,
Okay.
translation interpretation agencies. So from there, I get work notification through my mail, and I have one Japanese interpretation agency as well. And that person is very good. Whenever there is interpretation translation job, he
You
comes to
know.
me. Yeah. So I did several work for him. So that person introduced me to this job as well. And so connection is not about registering yourself through online portals. It's not about making an online presence. It's about the physical connections as well. Like this time when I visited this freelance interpretation, so I handed over my uh, business card.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So and through that, this year also one of the client like one of the audience was a styrofoam maker, equipment maker. Okay, so that person also attended last year in that conference. So this
And
year,
to that person, you said your business card.
to all of them, I shared
All of them, whoever was there in that, meeting
blindly.
gathering. Okay.
Blindly, I shared.
Blindly, you said it. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
So one of those person means that person is having his equipment manufacturing company based in Italy.
Okay.
So that person this year has contacted me to do a translation for his website.
Hmm.
Okay, and that he will be presenting to the Japanese customers to build his presence in Japanese market.
Okay.
So this is just one example. So
Mm-hmm.
in these are the ways you can make connections. Like one is obviously the online connections through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very good online connection portal.
Yes.
Like those you can use, as well as Naukri is there,
Okay.
followed by yeah, followed by you have other. You can directly contact the agencies as well.
Like, can you please name what is the situation about these agencies, like, especially for interpretation?
Agencies do give you interpretation work, like freelancing work, like 3 days, 5 days, sometimes for a month, sometimes for 3 weeks.
Good. So
Yeah,
through those agencies, we can have, and when we are attending that meetings or gatherings, that exact function is there. So we can
yeah.
physically make the connections, like as you
Yes,
mentioned, that
advertise
sharing
yourself.
cards. Exactly.
Advertise yourself.
So first of all, they will know that you are able to do it. So because out of your interpretation, they will able to know your ability. And next,
Yes.
when you are sharing your advertisement, your card with those persons, there are maybe possibilities that they will come back to you in future.
Yes. It's not like that. If you are sharing 100 cards and 100 of them will
No,
come back.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like that.
Maybe
But
1% of them, maybe they will not come.
yeah,
Yes.
yes. But keep your chances open.
Mm, certainly. So now we have come a very long way, like from we have, you know, we just heard about that initial story, how difficult it was for you. And look, today, like you have already a master in this field almost, like you were doing so
No,
great thing.
I'll not say I'm a master, but I'm still learning. Till to this day, I remember the tips that the Chinese gave me, and still the process of learning, because interpretation and translation is a field where learning doesn't stop.
You have to be.
Languages, because yes, because the languages are evolving every day. The way a Japanese person will speak, it will change, because it's a living language. A living language always changes. So you have to be updated. If you're not updated, you will fall.
Exactly. So, how you keep up with these trends, like these cultures and these changes in language?
Yeah, remember during the start of this session, I said like, what is my source of entertainment?
Yeah, I know it's anime. It's yes.
Yeah. So still to this day, I watch anime daily around
So,
at least an hour or two. So because I find that animes are geared towards the native Japanese, and the current Japanese have a lot of Japanese anime have a lot of words that previous generation did not used to speak.
so anime is a
So
kind of
yeah,
tool, maybe that you can use to understand the
I use
reason.
that. I use that. I use that. Like along with anime, I use manga. I don't use
Mangas,
the I like I don't read. Yeah, I don't read the translated manga.
the original,
I
authentic
read the
Japanese
Japanese
one.
ones only.
Hmm.
Yes, yes, yes. As well as the Runaway. Runaway is the light novel.
Hmm. Like yes, you can read it, within a.
Yes. So these three things, along with sometimes I read the Japanese newspaper, but I'm not fond of that because it's too much. Like I feel like it's I need to read the news, those so serious topics of finance and all and all. Sometimes I do read because in my profession, in my office, for that I need to do that. Like there are
Hmm.
different discussion, and for that I need to have the knowledge about the news and all. But mostly I do. I read manga, light novels, watch anime, Japanese movies, and other than that, the articles, the scientific and technical articles, because I'm in automobile field, so related to that, I read. And apart from that, also anything that is technical
Hmm.
or anything, so I read that because, as I said, my background is from science and technical,
Science
so
and
I
technology.
prefer that.
Yes. Okay. Oh, it's great actually. You are not learning just from one medium, but you are referring to many mediums actually. So you are learning from manga, you are learning from newspaper, whatever you have regarding that technology. So it's good.
Yes,
People can use that. Okay, so
yes.
now we're
And
almost at the end. Yeah, please.
yeah, sorry, just one thing I'll want to share with you all that like interpretation doesn't have to be robotic. You know, like again, this trait I got from the Chinese as well. So if you can be humorous while
Wow.
doing interpretation,
Okay.
So like if you can like do your interpretation, like for example, a speaker cracks a joke, and if you're interpreting, it should also look like a joke. It should not be like an interpretation.
Okay.
So if it looks like a joke through interpretation, people laugh. That means you have done a great job.
And
If they are not able to get it, then you need to work on that. And to work that side, like to able to understand Japanese jokes and all, your natural speaking Japanese should also be on the same level as your uh, like professional Japanese. Like for example, I'll make myself more clear that
hmm,
whenever, for example, I'm in a meeting, technical meeting.
okay.
So for those technical words, I have already studied. So I am having most of the words in my repertoire. But apart from that, for a daily life
Hmm,
or something other than not related to that technical field, if the Japanese is saying something, I should have the same words in English, or if the Indian is saying something, I should have the same, almost the same words in Japanese.
hmm. To
So
match
for
that
that,
level.
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Hmm.
So for that, manga or anime will serve as the better medium, because through that you can learn the casual words or how the jokes need to be said in which tone. Initially, I used to watch animes for entertainment. Right now, entertainment plus learning both.
Uh, it's for you. It has become like a great tool that you are using every day.
Yes.
So now we have learned a lot of things like tools what we can use for interpretation. There are things like what one should master before going to the field of interpretation. What is the situation in this field? We have learned about how one can create a versatile level of human networking. Okay,
Yes.
to have more opportunities in the field of interpretation. Thanks to you. So now we have already reached, the moment where we have to end it. So one thing I want, I will, like to ask you, if the shift is there, like some people, if they want to make a shift in the career from, like they're doing their jobs in other fields of Japanese, now they're willing to be in this field. Actually, you have mentioned it because you have mentioned it that they need to have a very good skill in Japanese. Now, if someone is desiring to getting out of this field, how is that? What is the
Uh,
situation in it?
Out of this field means from interpretation.
Yes, to other fields, like what could be those? You don't need to be very specific, but are they able to do
Uh,
that after a period of time being in interpretation?
yes, like, but uh, the condition is that while he or she was doing the interpretation,
Hmm.
he or she must acquire some extra skill.
Okay.
For that, he or she needs to communicate to their seniors that I want to learn some extra, teach me, or I want to learn from you. So if you are not having those extra skills, how will you switch over?
Exactly.
You have done interpretation for say like 10 years, only interpretation,
Hmm. Hmm.
and you want to switch to maybe administration work.
Okay.
Okay,
Hmm.
how will you switch? In your CV, it will say that you have done interpretation for 10 years. You are experienced in interpretation.
Interpretation. Yes.
So how, and after 10 years of doing service, you cannot expect to be a fresher again in a
Exactly.
new job, right? So everyone wants to have a better salary at the end of the day,
Exactly.
right? Yeah. So if you're not having that extra skill where you want to switch, how will you do that? Company will ask you like, how means why should we hire you?
Hmm. Definitely.
But
So.
one thing like the switch can be easier if you are having the language as well as that extra. field,
Hmm.
means extra work. Like,
Understood. That extra skill
yeah,
in,
like
yes.
in a, like from X company to Y company, you are switching, but you are saying that in Y company, I'll not do any kind of interface. I'll completely leave my connection with Jack. So
That is
you will
not good. Yeah.
struggle. That will, you know, you will struggle a lot then. So, but if you say that in Y company, I will do, maybe for example, I'll do the sales related work mainly, but as a secondary job profile, I can help you out with interpretation
Okay.
sometime.
Hmm.
That will work. That will
Okay.
obviously work, and maybe you will get a better package as well.
Hmm. Understood. And for IT as well, it will work like having skills out of the box, like only that skill which is necessary for solely interpretation. When someone is trying to get out of this field, they need some extra skills. Definitely, it
Yes,
will be very good.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So, thanks to Arnab San, we have learned a lot of things like that knowledge that he has shared today with all of us. It's very impactful, definitely. So thank you, Arnab San, being here tonight. Sorry, this evening. So I think that your career will grow further, like in the direction you have planned, you have dreamed of, and again we will try to have you someday here, and again we will try to listen to you, to your insightful knowledge. Thanks for this evening. Thank you everyone for stay tuned this long with us. Thank you.
Same here. As well. Thank you for
Thank you,
inviting me.
Arnab San. Thanks a lot. Okay. Thank you, Arnab San.